Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or, if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Rise of Skywalker is tracking for a huge opening, but lowest of the new trilogy. Yes, we're going to be talking about the opening of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. Now, people have varying opinions on it, and we'll be talking about that in this article. Weekend one early box office forecast is in, and it's huge. But huge is relative when it comes to Star Wars. The 2019 movie is projected to potentially have a lower opening weekend box office than Star Wars The Force Awakens and Star Wars The Last Jedi. But considering Episode 9 pre-sales just broke some records, it may be worth raising an eyebrow at any lower estimates. And you can see here, this guy's trying to deflect from the fact that those pre-sales look at best dubious because of Disney might be interfering in some way. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker isn't opening for another 2 months, but the box office prognosticators are already hard at work crunching opening weekend numbers. Box Office Pro posted its long-range forecast for Episode 9. Already we can see in this article, this guy's just praising Disney and praising the Rise of Skywalker, saying it's going to be a big box office opening. But I have my doubts, and we'll learn more about my doubts as we read this article. Opening weekend range from 185 to 225 million. Opening weekend estimate 200 million for a 3-day opening December 20th through 22nd. Domestic total range 550 to 750 million. These are the domestic estimates that people are giving for The Rise of Skywalker. And I say this feels like bunk. I feel it's going to be a dip in the, gross of the Star Wars movies in this, the 9th installment of this franchise. Continuing where we left off on the article, sometimes Box Office Pro is close, sometimes not. An Episode 9 opening weekend in that range would be a drop from Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, which set a record at the time with its 248 million opening weekend in 2015. That movie went on to be the current leader as the highest grossing movie of all time at the domestic box office. Avengers Endgame has the worldwide title, which includes the foreign box office. Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, had an opening weekend of 220,009,584 in 2017. So if The Rise of Skywalker opens on the higher end of Box Office Pro's forecast, it could top The Last Jedi. The site is currently going with 200 million for Rise of Skywalker's opening, but leaving the door open for more. I'd open that door a lot wider if it were me, and I have my doubts about that, and this guy just sounds like he's just shilling for Disney now. I do think Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is going to pass The Last Jedi at the box office, and I think that will start with its opening weekend. Yes, there is anger out there after The Last Jedi, and some fans are in no rush to watch The Rise of Skywalker in theater. It's also apples to oranges to compare pre-sales for Avengers movies to Star Wars movies, since the early ticket rush from hardcore Star Wars fans may not be emblematic of a larger mainstream rush to see the final Star Wars movie over opening weekend. I still think if The Force Awakens opened to 247,966,675, and The Last Jedi opened to 220,009,584, that The Rise of Skywalker will open somewhere in between. That, as Box Office Pro even noted, Star Wars trilogies have established a pattern of the first movie making the most money, the second one declined significantly, and the third rebounding for a second best performance. That may well happen again. Here are the total domestic and international grosses for the previous 2 trilogy movies per Box Office Mojo. Star Wars The Force Awakens, domestic 936, 662, 225. Foreign 1,131,561,399 dollars. Worldwide total $2,688,223,624 Star Wars The Last Jedi domestic, $620,181,382. Foreign, $712,358,507. Worldwide total, $1,332,539,889. Ooh. Call me a hater if you want, but the fact that The Last Jedi made far less money than The Force Awakens makes me happy, because that movie didn't deserve to be made. It was a horrible mess. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker should pass $1 billion easily, and I do agree with a total domestic projection of 550 to 750 million, considering how massive that gap is. I'd estimate on the higher side, higher than 620 million of The Last Jedi, but almost certainly lower than the 936.6 million of The Force Awakens, since that's the single biggest domestic total in history. Yeah, and I didn't enjoy that movie. And I hate that it made that much money, and it just shows Disney they can make schlock and people will come see it. But that only happens under the fact that Star Wars was a brand name and that it could bring in people. But now that Star Wars is a famed star, it is going down hard. And what can I say about the Rise of Skywalker? It looks like an edited mess that J.J. Abrams was forced to make to try and save the film franchise. But I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. It just looks like it's going to be horrible. But let's keep reading this article. If J.J. Abrams hits The Rise of Skywalker out of the park and word of mouth in the fandom is extremely positive, no it isn't, like it has been for most of the trailer footage, I could see Episode 9 rivaling The Force Awakens box office. The movie is meant to end with a mind-blowing final shot for the franchise. I'm excited to see it. People are going to want to avoid spoilers, and that means seeing it themselves first. Geez, the writer of this article sounds deluded. Reviews from critics may not sell the movie either way, but if fellow fans love it and the word spreads, then I can see Rise of Skywalker potentially joining The Force Awakens in the 2 billion club. I don't think so. How much do you think Rise of Skywalker will make in its opening weekend? More or less? The Last Jedi is 220 million and The Force Awakens 248 million? I don't think it'll make that much money. I honestly don't. The writer also included an opinion poll on how much money The Rise of Skywalker will make. Less than The Last Jedi's 220 million, more than The Last Jedi's 220 million. But less than The Force Awakens 248 million, more than The Force Awakens. I can't even say it because I really don't like this. This guy probably just put this here to deflect criticism of his article, because he just sounds like he's just praising the Disney Star Wars movies so much they probably just gave this here to make sure people had something to direct their anger and their ire to. Because I just don't think this Rise of Skywalker is going to rebound like he says. Maybe it'll make more than The Last Jedi, but I honestly think it might be just as bad or worse. But people... What can I say? These are my own opinions, and I'm glad they are. At least I don't sound like I'm shilling for Disney, because every time I read an article for The Rise of Skywalker, it just comes off as more shilling and shilling. I mean, the old media goes after online streamers for being fake news, and they have allies in the NPC crowd that go after the same people, but all of them just come off as just, in the pockets of big corporations. And these people are just frightened silly of anyone who has their own opinions in this world. It's just sad to see that, people can't trust the media anymore. You can trust people. That's why you go to online streamers or online news outlets. But you can't trust all of them. You have to, decide for yourself what you're going to trust. Especially about The Rise of Skywalker, like Captain Marvel before. Disney is doing everything they can to give this movie the most positive spin they possibly can. But that itself might drive away viewers because it just comes off like we shouldn't trust any of this. And that might hurt their box office, period. Now, if you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people just to please everyone like Disney, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics, They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And could you please share this video? Share it on Twitter and share it on Facebook. Share it anywhere you think it would do the most good, because YouTube is also not going around promoting their YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. Now I'm going to plug for my independent comic book again, so listen closely. Keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.